Hey sailors, let me explain why I look like this first. I'm wearing these gloves with chopped off fingers so I can type and not get cold hands, wearing my beanie and my Icelandic sweater, and that's because I'm trying to save energy because maybe some of the euros I pay for that energy end up in Putin's pockets, and he doesn't deserve that, right? So let me show you what I've been doing for the past few weeks. First of all, we're on a boat. Yay! It's been quite a while since we've been on a boat, and it's not quite like what you would have expected because the boat doesn't move. It just sits here in the water. It does float, but it doesn't move yet. And I've given it some heel just for so I can show you what happens. First, let's look at the camera. When I look at the horizon, you see that the horizon is straight. But the boat will move with the water, and you keep your eye on a steady horizon because that's what you do in a normal situation on a boat as well. But then you want to adjust one of the trim lines. So, for instance, when I look at this winch here, something else happens. Now the camera sets itself fixed to the boat, and the horizon is not straight anymore. See that? That's because it constantly measures the distance to what you're looking at, and kind of like the same behavior you would have on a boat. If you want to adjust the trim line, you look at that thing and never mind what happens to the boat and to the waves and to the horizon, you just want to adjust that trim line and you focus on that. So your camera has to be steady on the trim line. And look at the horizon again, you're steady on the horizon. I can walk around on this boat, see? And when I look at the mast, there's a really neat trick. I'm really proud of this one. Check this out. Ooh. The mast can bend, see that? This will also have an effect on the shape of the sail, like you would expect. And here's the rudder. I can pull it and adjust it, and you can see the degrees running. See that? And when I want to adjust a trim line, check here, I have this label. It's not quite like I would want it to be, but yeah. So first of all, you adjust trim lines in the length. You can see there, Cunningham 1.24 meters. That's the length between the start of the line and the cleat. And you can also see on the left side in that little table the tension on the different sides of the sail. So you have tension on the luff 50%, tension on the leech 50%, and tension on the bottom 50%, because that's what you adjust with trim lines. And then as a result, you can see what it does to the shape of the sail in the right hand side of the table. First the overall depth of the sail, the tightness of the leech, so will the sail breathe, will the top open a bit in a gust, and the position of the curve of the sail, more forward, more backward. Now the opening of the leech, for instance, but also the curve in the sail, you can see now that it's 48% and 31%, but those are not steady numbers, because with this mast bend that we have now, as soon as a gust hits, the shape of the sail will change because the mast will bend. So that's really cool. It'll give it all a much more dynamic feel. So I hope you like this. You can also see that I've been doing quite some work on the trim lines. They are guided over this ridge here, then along this edge, and here towards this back, and that has been quite a lot of work to get that right, because everything affects everything. So one of the things I've also been adding is a little menu where you can toggle through the different lines. On Sailaway 2 this was done with the Q and the E key. They still work, so if I press E for instance, I can toggle through the different trim lines that are active at the moment, and for instance select this water ballast. Let me select the water ballast and then press F and R to change it, move it to port. Now you can see that it slowly adjusts from 16, 17 liters, 18, 19, 20 liters to 280, and that's because the boat has no speed at the moment, and so the water ballast tanks aren't filled that quickly, because you have these scoops underwater normally. Oh, and before I forget, there's another new function. You may have seen already that there are these pop-up menus wherever you click. So for instance, if I click on the water, on the land, or here on the sky, something can be done here. For instance, turn constellations, display of constellations on and off. Well, it's daytime, but okay. And there's also a pop-up menu for the boat, and you can show and hide airflow. I've shown you that in a previous video, but this one is new: get or store sail. And because sails can't just be raised and dropped, but you can also stow them away below deck. And so before you can raise a sail, you first have to get it from the boat and then set it and then raise it. It doesn't quite work yet because I'm still working on letting the trim lines do their job. So it will now raise the sail immediately, which is obviously not like it's supposed to be. But let's get the jib, and then here's the jib set, and also immediately I get this sheet for the jib and all the other trim lines that are associated with it. So one of the things I'm also trying to do is not just adjust this line and show these numbers there. I want you to be able to look up into the sail, and I've been thinking how to do this, because at the same time you want to see the line because you're controlling the line, and you also want to see what happens to your sail. And in a normal situation on a normal boat, your eyes have a much bigger field of view than you'd have on this camera, and you can just look up and look down at your line again, and also you feel the line in your hand, so you know what you're doing, and you don't have that on a sailboat. So maybe it's still in experimental phase, but I was thinking about this. Suppose you select the line, and the line remains visible in view like it was. Only the boat and the water and the sky, they disappear, and they are replaced with a view upwards towards the sail. Maybe that works. I don't know. But I'll keep you posted. So if I don't see you anymore, have a wonderful holiday, nice Christmas, and until the next time. Bye everyone.